Dolphin scan. What's up, guys? Welcome back. So every year, every season, every 5 minutes, the internet wants to rename some new version of dewy skin, right? And the current one is dolphin skin. And just like everything else that I'm unaware of until months after it's actually a thing, it originated on TikTok. I'm gonna go ahead and say I don't watch TikTok. I have it on my phone only because my mom sends me lots of TikToks. It's not because it's not entertaining. It's not because it's not fun. It's because it's super entertaining and it's super fun and you can lose a lot of hours to it. So I don't have those hours to lose at the moment. Anyway, what are we going to be doing today as an army of dewy queens? We are going to be trying the new, it's pretty cold tea, trend of dolphin skin with all of the dewy, glossy, iridescent, shimmery, healthy, bouncy looking products that I have in my collection, which are many and sundry. And the reason that I even thought to do this was because I just watched Snitchery's video where she did one half of her face with one TikTok trend where I swear this girl puts like half of a bottle of foundation on her face. I am selling this to the point that I think that you're just gonna go run and watch Snitchery's video. Just please come back here when you're done. So yeah, horrifying in my opinion, just the amount of foundation that this girl puts on. And then she does like the dolphin skin thing on the other side. Of course, I found that one more appealing. So anyway, I'm gonna zoom you guys in. I have so much like cute, fun glass skin kind of stuff that we haven't used in a while since I've been doing my more fall winter makeup. So this will be refreshing for those of you who really arrive at my channel to see skin shining through makeup, etc. And we're going to try and achieve the glossiest, dewiest, probably not the long wearingest makeup look and some dolphin skin. Yikes. So there's gonna be a little bit of a coverage moment happening here. We're not going for just like pure skin. We're gonna try and give the illusion that we're doing skin, but like, we've got some indiscretions. I have no idea what's happening right here. I guess it kind of itches. I don't know. And we've got discoloration mainly because I've gotten back on actives. I have gotten back to using retinol, and we're in the phase of retinol where it's like purging everything and it's like pushing all of my pigment to the surface. And so like, it's real. And I suppose it also goes without saying that we probably need a little bit more help to get my skin looking dewy because it is the middle of winter, even in Austin. So I have already applied this. This is something that I have been talking up in my videos lately, only as it's washed over me how good it is. And it is the Supergoop Daily Dose of Vitamin C and SPF. I find vitamin C to be highly inconsequential on my skin. I really couldn't care less, but the vitamin C does kind of make a bell ring in my brain that's like, wait a second, this is a lot like the Sunday Riley vitamin C, the CEO serum that I love and used to spend a lot of money on. And I really don't even know whether it was brightening. It just gave my skin this like bounce, and this gives it that bounce. And I just gave away everything that I'm probably going to say when I feature this in my favorites, but you know. So the first thing that we're going to be starting with is, I didn't even know this was considered a primer until I saw it on Kyla Fish's channel, and she was talking about how it's very similar to the Watermelon Glow Drops from Glow Recipe, which I've never tried anything from Glow Recipe, but I figured, I don't have any other way of using this or any other like time in my routine that I use this. So this is the Glossier Future Dew Oil Serum Hybrid. And don't we just wish that it looked, I mean, this is the dream, right? This is what I want my skin to look like, is this fun kind of like unicorn skin situation. So I'm gonna shake this because I haven't used it in a while. It is admittedly absolutely beautiful. I can just put this on and be like, done. It has like an essential oil smell to it. I think that that's what initially repelled me from it, like kept me from putting it right in smack dab in my routine. But my goodness, I look like a youth. Let's not go that far. But it does, it makes me look like some kind of porpoise princess. We're already well on our way to being an ocean mammal. Ew, dolphin scan. Y'all, I'm just having fun with this one. So, I don't know. I did a little bit of cursory reading, about as much research as an Aries can stomach on this, and then I just sort of decided I could wing it. So I'm actually starting it with the Beauty Bakery Instabake foundation, and it is like, they call it an aqua glass foundation because it's gonna give you that glass skin thing. And I figured we would just use this selectively, like as my whole complexion product, and not really do a concealer per se. And this is when I go into like painterly flow. And instead of looking at my face as a bunch of features, I look at it as a canvas with contours. And I say like, okay, where do I need just a little bit of coverage that hopefully looks like skin, hopefully is believable. And I'm using a foundation for this because I don't want the eye to necessarily detect that I've like gone over the top with brightening or something. Like this is supposed to be effortless looking. I had this moment this morning, guys, where I don't know, I opened up my analytics or whatever. Wow, that did such a good job of just camouflaging all that nonsense. I opened up my analytics and I saw that we are creeping ever closer to 50,000 subscribers. 50,000 is an arbitrary landmark that I had in my brain of when I become a real YouTuber. Like, I remember when Jamie French hit 50,000 and like what a big deal it was to her and how grateful she was. And a lot of times when you see, God, that just melts into the skin, doesn't it? I love that. We might end up doing a little bit of brightening under the eyes, but I'm gonna try and play it safe for now. But yeah, when people talk on Reddit, they're like, oh, small YouTubers under 50,000. Sometimes they say under 100,000. But I realize like this landmark is going to just blow past me if I don't, you know, stick a stake in the ground, and just how cool that is. I mean, we're almost at 46, I think, right now. I'm almost at 46. So 50,000 will probably happen in the next few months. All right, so we've got some nice texture going on here, but I think that we can do more. I do want to finish this, like when I get done with this makeup look, I want it to feel like I have a full face of makeup on, like I want it to feel complete. I could just stop right here and be like, well, yeah, anybody would believe that that's my skin, you know? So I'm actually going in with the Daniel Sandler, what is this? Sun Glow drops, the watercolor liquid cheek color. And I know everybody puts these on differently. I'm going to just do it with a sponge. And this is a very moist sponge, so it's not going to soak up too much product here. I'm also going to turn my collar down because I don't want to get makeup all over it. And for anybody who's like, well, couldn't you have just used like the Becca Zero? Oddly, if you've never used the Becca Zero, guys, that clear foundation, it's matte. It is mattifying, so it would not give me dolphin skin the way that we are trying to achieve dolphin skin. I don't know why I can't say dolphin normally. Dolphin. Bronzer. I'm so obsessed with this bronzer. I don't know why I don't use it more often. I think it's because it's really subtle, but like, are you not buying that as my skin? Like, you would just look at that and be like, well, guess she's just hashtag blessed. Ooh. Yeah, I'm getting really carried away because it's very, very pretty, very subtle, very easy to blend. It also seems to really like this foundation. When I talk about self-leveling foundations and also foundations that are sort of lit from within, Beauty Bakery, Instabake, that's what I'm talking about. I think that that was a poor naming choice, not any shade or anything like that. I just think that it does not convey what the foundation does. The foundation is not matte, baked looking, you know, like we used to bake our faces. It's not drag makeup by any means. It is very, very lightweight, like extremely lightweight, and has a perfect coverage level for me. I don't think that that was quite enough bronzer for my taste. So I think I'm actually, boy, this is a throwback blast from the past. Oh yeah, and so is the fact that I can't open it. That's right, I remember now. Wow, well great, I just stuck my thumb in it. Anyway, it's the Tower 28 bronzer, the Bronzino, and this was that classic moment we all remember where they sent everybody the wrong shade at Sephora. So I have it in Best Coast instead of West Coast. Yeah, okay, that's a lot. So it is too deep of a shade. I mean, not too deep, but it's not the shade that's technically like designed for me. And so we're going to be using it very sparingly, but I do think that it's going to achieve a more made up look. It's gonna make me look like, you know, I've enhanced things, not just kind of smoothed it all down to one layer of foundation. And again, painterly mindset. I'm thinking, where does the sun hit me? Where do I naturally flush in the sun kind of thing? That often means that I'm not necessarily applying it in like the designated areas that you would, you know, put something if you were being photographed or something like that. It's just more about like achieving an illusion of like, this is my skin. What? This is my skin. The only thing about doing dewy, dolphin skin, whatever, yoga skin, what have we called it in the past? Either way, the only problem with it is just that YouTube filming setups are literally not meant for it. So that's why people put on so much like beautiful matte layered photographable makeup on YouTube. It's because it ends up looking fantastic under these lights, even though it doesn't really probably look like that tremendously awesome or believable in person. Whereas this looks tremendously believable in person, but the way that the lights are, they just expose everything. You know, my upper lip is like shiny, and so it looks like, I don't know, it's not super, super flattering, but in person, it's awesome. So you just gotta believe me. All right, staying in the dewy moment, honestly, we haven't pulled this out recently enough, have we? This is the Danessa Myricks Nudist palette, and for dolphin skin, I think we need to stay in the peaches up here. I have never put this on with a sponge though, so let's see how that works. See if it works. Does it work? I was watching her the other day, her Instagram, and she definitely depots this stuff and like uses it very, in a very disciplined way, I guess you would say, instead of just, you know, cramming a sponge in the way that I do. I'm just like, whatever. I'm okay with not using one and just using like 3 at a time. That's fine with me. Ew. So I'm actually pleased at how much the Future Dew enhances the complexion, but also it settles in a little bit. I was really scared it was just gonna screw everything up by making my skin just like a big old slick before I put it on. And I'm also not gonna promise that it wouldn't do that for some people. I just think that my skin is extra thirsty all the time because I use actives, and also because my skin is just naturally extra thirsty all the time. Oh, we're not even at the highlighter part, but like, man, look at that. Ooh. So I think that the idea of this that is different from, I guess, other dewy looks, I don't know. I think, again, we just keep renaming them. But I think that the idea is that we combine the texture of the dewy skin with the illusion of dewy skin as well, with just piling on highlighters and glitters and things like that. Not necessarily glitters, but there are glitters that apply. I do want a tippity touch of contour just because it's going to make me feel like I have finished my makeup. So I'm actually using the Westman Atelier here on my sponge, on the side of my sponge. I have to be careful. Sometimes when I use a new contour, a different contour than the Salt New York on camera, I don't blend it as well because they're almost all more pigmented than hers. So I think I caught myself in a video recently where I was like, I look like I have 2 lines underneath my cheekbones, but no one commented about it, so thank you. And there's probably not gonna be much eye look happening here, so I am going to make a little bit of an extra effort to contour here, the crease of my eye and up through my temple. Ow. It's gonna kind of give everything a lifted appearance. And then blend down onto my neck. Ooh, I'm looking very, very shinny. Shinny. Everyone's made that typo at some point, right? And this, of course, is like the Glossier aesthetic, but I think we're gonna do more engineering than that. You know, I think that like Glossier kind of tops out in terms of what you can achieve. Like, you put it on and you either like it or you don't, but there's not a whole lot of manipulation to their complexion products, and I want a little more control than that. All right, so the first highlighter that we're gonna be going in with is the Daniel Sandler Moon Glow. I highly recommend, if you are interested in trying his stuff and you are complected similarly to me, or even, I mean, it doesn't even have to be similarly to me, but the little trial set of these 2 and then 2 blushes, it's a great value on Skin Store. So yeah, oh God, that highlight's gorgeous, isn't it? And I saw Snitchery kind of just put it a lot more places than you would think. Pretty much anywhere that the light hits, you want to enhance it with highlighter, but it has to be the right highlighter, you know? You don't want it to be, I don't know, steal the show in terms of texture. If it kind of absorbs too much moisture or something, if it's like a really, really heavy powder highlight, then you're gonna lose the illusion. The only other annoying thing about a look like this, I talked about it earlier, just the lack of long wear, and like that's fine. I think a lot of people are okay with that when it comes to a dewy face, especially because most dewy faces of makeup are not this time intensive. I'm just kind of like being extra for the sake of being extra here. But also, they make everything stick to my face. And so I probably will pull out a little bit of powder at the end just because annoying. All right, so I also have a couple of highlighters here. I brought out the Aether highlighter because it gives a wet look. And so I wanna take this little guy from Thrive, and we're just gonna kind of top off that Daniel Sandler with this. This is a lot like the Diamond Bomb from Fenty. So it doesn't really leave any pigment, but it just gives you a wet texture. But it's a powder. It's awesome. It's pretty magical. Oh, I could just go crazy with that. Yes, why are you like this? Wow, okay. So I have other things that I could pull out. Like I have the Becca Zero highlighter, and it is a very like actual liquid, almost greasy, clear highlighter. And we might pull that out at the end as a topper, but I genuinely don't think that we need it at the moment. So let's talk about eyes, shall we? Ever since watching The Crown, I just like lean into the Queen's English accent every once in a while. I'm just like, oh, hello. It also is the same accent as Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror Picture Show. So, you know, pick your fighter. So I pulled out a couple of eye situations here, and the one that I think I'm going to go with today is the Rowan 1111 palette, just because it's so easy, and we have not used this very much on camera yet. So I think that this, ooh boy, that like rock and roll silver, like it needs to happen today, so. Smudgy, grungy, just so pretty. Yes. I've never used this before. You guys are watching my first time in real time here. And I also never wear silver. I'm like a gold jewelry person, and so this pewter shade, I'm surprised that it actually works as well as it does. I do feel like, and you will notice this is a very cool toned palette, and there's also a particularly cool toned shade. Do you see how my eyelids just shrunk? That is the power of a cool tone. It's going to always make things look like they're receding from the eye. It's going to trick the eye. So we're going to probably take something out of this palette, or maybe something else that's not in this palette, that has a slightly warmer temperature profile, and I'm going to place that in the middle of my lid when we're done with this, and it's going to help with the illusion of making the contour of my eyelid come back. So I just got that everywhere. You guys know I hate putting stuff on with my fingers. I hate it, but I kind of don't feel like there's another option with that particular palette, so it's just kind of freaking everywhere now. And I have made this work on a brush before. It's just not like ideal. So I'm gonna take a pencil brush and I'm gonna go in with a pinkier shade right on top here. And even though you're not even gonna really be able to see like, you know, a pure halo, I'm not like leaving some kind of, you know, obvious line. Just that little bit of layering those things helps to bring back the dimension. And then I'm also going to put that here, and I'm gonna blend it with a brush or a sponge or something. And that's going to, again, enhance things coming forward, because it is a just slightly warmer shade. I think that there need to be cream eyeshadow brushes. Something like this that's really, really dense, but small. And there probably is something like that. I have an RMS brush that's kind of like that. Except they do call it a blush brush because their blushes are so precious and so they're super, super tiny. But like, you see how easy that was? There's just moments where only a tool will do. Okay, and then I'm taking a little bit of Miko from Thrive in their Brilliant Eye Brightener, and that's going to be my highlight on my inner corner here because I'm just leaning into the pink of it all. I'm actually not going to do that on my brow bone because I love what's happening on my brow bone right now. And you guys know that it's just not an option for me to not have a little bit of eyeliner. And what I have sitting in front of me right now is the Stoned palette. So that's what I'm gonna use. I'm going to spritz my brush, the purple or brown? Purple or brown? Purple or brown? We're gonna go purple. This is like the least long wearing thing ever. All right, so I think the brows are actually really important to this look because it's supposed to be this like very organic, like effortless looking thing. And I feel like one of the things that makes something look effortless, oddly enough, is just having really fluffy brows. So I'm going to very judiciously and not over the top here fill my brows in, mainly down here at the bottom, because I feel like the definition is what we're really looking for, is just that framing, but the top, I want to get the fluff. I want to get the fluff of it all. All right, I am actually gonna try the clear boy brow and see if I like it with this. Just get the fluff without the color kind of thing. I actually don't know how I'm going to feel about this, but it might work. Wow, feeling so, I don't know. I'm just feeling kind of slick, honestly. Everything is the same texture. I'm going to powder a little bit and I'm gonna do it with something iridescent. And I think that that's going to do the trick. So this is the one from Well People that I said I was going to reintegrate a little bit more of and just ever so slightly. All the kind of unflattering areas to have be shiny, you know? Because we wanna leave that lovely, effortless, how many times can I say effortless in a video? That just really, really nice sheen on my cheeks, but you know, I want to not attract the eye to other areas of my face unnecessarily. I'm checking myself in my monitor to see kind of where the light's hitting that I don't want it, because I still feel like that's ideal. Like that's a lot better. What do we think so far, guys? Are we achieving the illusion here? I'm not totally sure that we are, but I am very dolphin-y looking. Okay, let's do lips here. I don't have my lip liner, my khaki lip liner on hand. It's downstairs with all of my stuff. So I'm going to just use a little bit of the Fit Glow that I've been enjoying, that Kate sent me. And I just felt like, I don't know, there were two ways I wanted to go with this. I either would use the Morning Dew in Quartz from M Cosmetics, or someone, a viewer, sent me this lovely, I wanna say it's pronounced Lise Watier, lip gloss. Let's do that. Ooh. Dewy, dewy, dewy. It is very much like a lip oil. It's the Gloss Universelle, but it does have that lightweight, like the Kosas kind of feeling to it, of a wet lip oil. I like that. It's actually so thin that it actually reminds me of the Thrive a little bit in the way that you can feel the glitter that's in it, but that is what it is. All right, now we need to do just a little tiny cleanup situation, right? Around here, I feel like the whole thing with achieving a look like this is to selectively do the most where you need it and then back off everywhere else. So I need like a real concealer. All right, I'm going to grab the Kosas. This is in 02. It looks a little bit yellow, but it's in such a tiny area, I don't even mind. What do you guys think? What? More blush? Okay, you got it. It's a weird request, but okay. I'm actually gonna dip a little bit into the cooler tones here because we ended up with cooler tones on my eyes. Not that you always have to match your eyes to your cheeks, but I think that it'll help bring this together. So I'm working kind of in these guys right here. Oh, also I got my Fjord sweatshirt. I'm gonna have to wear that in my next video. I freaking love it. I got it in white with like the periwinkle blue lettering on it, and it makes me feel so cute. I'm bringing it up underneath my eyes a little bit just because I hate, you guys know, I hate that like socket look, but I also want to cover my dark circles. So 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, but I really feel like that helped bring the coolness of the eyes together with everything else. And now I feel like we need just a touch more highlight. So I am going back in with the Aether. And we're gonna go all the way. You know, you see the light kind of like hits me right there on its own. And we're gonna really accentuate that. Wow. Do I look like a porpoise? Do I look like a dolphin? Is it working? Okay, let's move you guys out and we'll chat about this. Yeah, so moved out, I think it looks a lot better when you're really, really close with all this lighting. It doesn't really work that well just because, like I said, this lighting is not necessarily conducive with making this kind of makeup look really good. In person, it's going to sell it. It is just so, so lovely in person, but the difference between the textures and everything, it doesn't really, like, it's kind of over accentuated with the light. So you can see a little bit more mattification under my eyes than you can see in real life. The skin looks a lot dewier on camera than it looks in real life. Like, it just kind of looks like, you know, happy iridescent, you know, pretty healthy skin in person, but on here it kind of looks like, whoa. I also want to emphasize, a lot of people are like, yeah, your skin looks so good lately. Yes, I've been using retinol, but also it's always going to look better when your forehead is smooth. And I pay to have someone put a thing in my forehead so that it's smooth. It's called Botox. And so that is part of like what makes your skin look younger or more smooth and youthful or whatever. Like, just don't be fooled. Don't let anybody sell you a skincare product telling you that it's going to make your forehead smooth when really it's just Botox, guys. And that's up to you whether you think that that is something you want to do to yourself. I am not going to advise you on that. I just want to be transparent because I don't want you to, like, you know, be like, oh, well, I'm going to buy that Supergoop sunscreen. It's going to make my forehead smooth. No, it's not. But that is the vibe. Do I think that this is an everyday wearable kind of thing? Absolutely. Because this is what I don't know, this is the aesthetic that I lean into in the first place, is just trying to get that bouncy, healthy looking skin. It just is always a push-pull of comfort and long wearing versus this just easy looking makeup, because A, it does take a little bit longer to put makeup on that looks like this, just because you have to be a little bit more judicious where you put things. It's not just like layer, layer, layer. You can't just do it mindlessly. But also it's going to deteriorate more quickly depending on the weather and things like that. So I do tend to lean more towards powder looks sometimes, just when I don't feel like having my hair sticking to my face all day. And that is also why I love to lean on things like very dewy, bouncy lip glosses or selective highlighting and things like that, just to get that appearance on my skin without the inconvenience of my whole face just like attracting cat hair the rest of the day. So this is super duper pretty, and honestly it made me warm up more to the Aether highlighter. I have always been a little bit afraid to just brush this right onto my face because I'm like, oh, that's gonna give me like it's gonna be too much. It's gonna make me look like I'm from space or something, and so I tend to use it on my eyes. But now looking at it, when you guys saw me, I put it on 2 different times and I put on quite a bit each time. It really just is giving me something very believably wet looking, not something like super eyeshadowy or icy on my cheeks. So I will say, this combination right here did way better than I expected it to. The Future Dew did way better than I expected it to. It's bouncy without being really greasy and oily on my skin, and the Instabake did exactly what I hoped it was going to, where yeah, it might not have given me as much coverage as I wanted, but you might not need as much coverage as I wanted, and it's so self-leveling, it's so lit from within, it's so glassy and beautiful. Do not be misled by the name Instabake. So yeah, guys, me and my dolphin skin are going to go frolic off in the fjords now. So if you enjoyed this, do give it a thumbs up. If you want to keep hanging out with me on this channel, hit the button down below and subscribe. I would love it if you did. Thank you so much for watching and for hanging out with me today. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.